Alright, so the Eagles are Super Bowl bound after destroying the Commanders in the NFC Championship, and in this game, the Birds sent a clear message. As ahead of their Super Bowl rematch with the Chiefs, Jalen Hurts reminded the doubters who he is and proved that the Eagles offense can get the job done any way they want. Speaking of which, Saquon Barkley and the Birds rushing attack had another incredible performance, while the defense stepped up and made some game-changing plays. Plus, what's the latest on the injury front for the Eagles, including the possibility of Brandon Graham returning for a Super Bowl send-off, and also, what's the Birds' mentality as they get set to enter the big game? Well, we're going to talk about that and everything else from the Eagles' huge NFC Championship win over the Commanders starting right now. What's up, guys? Welcome to the Philly Fan 21 channel. If you're new, I'm Evan, and I cover all things Philadelphia Eagles, and it's official. The Birds are headed back to the Super Bowl after absolutely dominating the Commanders in the NFC Championship in a game where everybody stepped up. Don't you worry, we're going to break it all down, but man, let's just enjoy this for a second, because what a special night it was for a special team who has had a special season, but at the same time, it's not done yet, as the Eagles are just one win away from accomplishing the goal that they've been working towards this entire season. And as a fan, I mean, this could not feel any better, especially since this team has just come so far and they've had to go through so much to get here. Obviously, that goes back to the Super Bowl 57 loss and the collapse of last season and a somewhat shaky start to this year. And then, of course, there's just been tons of criticism of this team, whether it's about the quarterback or the head coach or the way they've been winning games. Yet, they've handled the adversity and they just kept on winning. And in this week's NFC Championship bout with Washington, it was no different, as despite a lot of people jumping on the Commanders and Jayden Daniels bandwagon, the Eagles stayed locked in, they showed up, and they took care of business in their house in what was just an unbelievable performance, as they dominated on both sides of the ball at times, with the defense doing what they do best and forcing multiple turnovers, while Jalen Hurts in the passing game had a bounce-back day, and Saquon Barkley in the run game were unreal once again. And all that was en route to a blowout victory in which the Birds put up a conference championship record 55 points on their way to their second Super Bowl appearance in 3 years. So again, safe to say the Eagles handled the adversity pretty well.
Yeah, this game is about overcoming adversity. There's going to be good plays in the game. There's going to be bad plays in the game. There's going to be good moments in a season. There's going to be bad moments in a season. It's about overcoming and embracing the adversity, because really what we've talked about as a team is like adversity. We've all had to have adversity to be in this moment as where we are right now. And so adversity is what makes you who you are.
Staying resilient during tough times, it's easy to keep going during the positive times, but, fighting through the tough times and keep pushing, those uncomfortable talks, uncomfortable situations, and just trying to make each other better, because nobody's like to being chewed out, but if a moment like these and for an opportunity like the one to come.
I'm just proud of this team and the adversity we've gone through and been able to push through. The early losses, the loss to Washington in the middle of the season in December, just being able to overcome whatever comes our way. I think that's who we are and what we do.
Although the job is obviously not done yet, if you're an Eagles fan, you just got to be so proud of this team and the journey they've gone through these past couple of seasons to get back to this point. And that also includes guys who maybe haven't been here, but have had to go through difficult journeys of their own. Whether that be the starting right guard Mekhi Becton, who had a rough injury-riddled start to his career with the Jets, but is now playing at a really high level, or the linebacker Zach Bond, who went from a rotational edge rusher and special teamer with the Saints to a Defensive Player of the Year candidate who had 12 tackles with a forced fumble and a fumble recovery in the NFC Championship and will now return to New Orleans for the Super Bowl. And of course, you cannot forget about Saquon Barkley, who after 6 seasons of disappointment with the Giants, took less money to sign with the Eagles so that he could have opportunities just like this.
When you signed here in free agency, did you think this would be a possibility to go to the Super Bowl your first year as an Eagle?
Of course, that's why I came here. It's one of the first conversations I had with Howie. That's a conversation I had with my family, and like I said last week, came to Philly to be a part of games like this, and nothing better than a game where you can advance to the Super Bowl, so super excited about that.
Saquon may have came to Philly to be a part of big games like this, but he's also a huge reason that they were even here in the first place, and he's also a massive reason that they were able to come away with the win in this one. As he set the tone straight out of the gates, as down 3-0 on their first offensive play, Barkley took a pitch to the left side and made magic happen, making defenders miss on what was just an incredible 60-yard touchdown run to give the Birds the early 7-3 lead.
He pitches it out to Barkley, takes off to the outside, he's at the 50, he's at the 40. He's at the 30. He's going to go. 15, 10, 5. Touchdown! Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, it's a good tone setter, right? We knew they were going to sell out to stop the run. We kind of knew that. And then he breaks 2 or 3 tackles to start. We get a great block from AJ on the toss crack to get around the edge. And then great block by Dallas to kind of set it off. And if that, Saquon gets into the second level, third level, and now it's, hey, can you tackle this guy? And he's hard to tackle.
He definitely set the tone. I think that play came out and told those guys, it's going to be a long day. So
it was certainly a long day for the Commanders defense trying to contain Barkley and the Eagles on the ground, as they never looked back from that first play, with Saquon getting in the end zone on his very next carry on the next drive, this time from 4 yards out to give the Eagles a 14-3 lead. And overall, Barkley finished with 118 rushing yards on just 15 carries, plus he had 3 touchdowns as he got in once more later in the fourth quarter to put the game pretty much out of reach. Meanwhile, Jalen Hurts also made an impact on the ground, as even though he didn't have a ton of yards, he had 3 rushing touchdowns with a couple of brotherly shoves, and also this QB draw where he ran it in from 9 yards out. And then also, shout out to the rookie Will Shipley, who had 77 yards on 4 carries, including this 57-yard explosion in the fourth quarter, and the first touchdown of his NFL career to give the Eagles 55 points. And safe to say, Saquon Barkley was fired up about it. So again, just shout out to the Rook. And overall, it was about as impressive as it gets from the Eagles ground game, as they put up 229 yards rushing and an insane 7 rushing touchdowns. And overall, it's just been so special to watch, because when you look at this year as a whole, the Eagles have sent a message that you can win by running the football heavily, which is something that you just don't really see too often anymore. And Saquon Barkley might just go down as one of the best free agent signings in NFL history if he keeps this up. But when you talk about the Eagles' rushing attack, you just cannot forget about the offensive line, because obviously they're a huge reason why that has been so successful. And also, we've been talking about guys fighting through adversity, so how about the offensive line fighting through adversity in this game? As obviously, starting center Cam Jurgens was active but didn't start the game due to a back injury, so the guard Landon Dickerson had to slide over to center, and he did a fantastic job, even after he had hurt his knee. And then eventually, Dickerson had to come out with that knee injury, so Cam stepped back in and played great in the second half, even while he was in some pain as well. And then, of course, you also have the backup Tyler Steen, who played the entire game at left guard, and he did a great job. So just shout out to all the guys on the Eagles offensive line for stepping up and also playing through pain. And in regards to both Landon and Cam's injuries, based on early reports, it does sound like both of them should be good to go for the Super Bowl. So that is definitely fantastic news. Plus, speaking of injuries, now that the Birds are officially in the Super Bowl, what are the chances that the legend Brandon Graham could return from his torn triceps injury to play in one final game?
Any chance to be back for the Super Bowl?
You know what, man? We'll see. Tomorrow I go meet up and we'll see if it's a possibility. And I've been working, man, but we gonna see. At the end of the day, I'm just happy we got there. Them boys scored 55 today. That's what's up. So that might be telling me something.
What's the determining factor?
You know what? We didn't really discuss all everybody been so hyped, and so we just gonna see what they saying tomorrow. And I'm with it regardless, yes or no, don't matter. But I'm just happy that these guys just working their butt off, man. Got to the Super Bowl, now we got to go finish it.
Well, there you go. BG just said it there. The decision of whether it's possible will be made today, being Monday. But a report last night seemed to reveal that the decision may have already been made, as it says that BG is expected to come off IR on Monday and prepare to try and play in the Super Bowl. Now, the report is from Marcus Hayes, and if you know anything about him, then you would understand why I'm a little bit reluctant to fully believe it or to give him credit for it. But if that is true and BG does end up returning for the Super Bowl, then that would just be unreal considering the 6-month timeline that this injury normally has. And also, just what a story it would be for the legend to return for one final game and go out with a Super Bowl victory. So if you haven't already, make sure you guys get your 55 Legend tees now from my official merch shop, and we'll just have to wait and see whether he can give us one more game. But now, real quick, I want to take a minute to talk about the sponsor of today's video, MyBookie. The conference championships are officially over, and with Super Bowl 59 between the Eagles and Chiefs on the way, MyBookie allows you to get in on all the action. As whether you want to bet on the straight-up outcome of the game, the spread, the point total, or the over-under on player stats, along with a variety of other things, MyBookie really does have something for everybody. Plus, you can take advantage of their risk-free Thursdays, as utilizing this offer, if you place a bet that doesn't hit, then they'll refund you your deposit up to a certain amount. In addition, MyBookie also offers a variety of games on their online casino that you can win big with, plus they offer a variety of other unique opportunities as well. And if you sign up today using my promo code PhillyFan, you'll receive an extra 50% bonus on your first deposit up to $1,000, along with a $10 casino chip. But most importantly, guys, please, please, please gamble responsibly. And if you do have a gambling problem, then please seek help and call 1-800-GAMBLER. And again, thank you to MyBookie for sponsoring today's video. So as much as you obviously got to give credit to the Eagles offense for putting up 55 points in this one, you also can't forget about the defense, because they deserve a tremendous amount of credit as well for creating turnovers that led to a lot of those points. And to be exact, Washington turned the ball over 4 times in this game, which led to 28 points for the Eagles. And whether it was Zach Ball or Orenberg's punch-outs to kill a couple of productive Washington drives, Will Shipley's forced fumble on special teams to give the Eagles the ball right back before the first half, which honestly I think that was a huge turning point in the game and gave full momentum to the Eagles, or Quinyon Mitchell's game-sealing interception over Terry McClaurin, it's safe to say that all these takeaways made a big impact in this game, as they always do. And you just gotta give credit to the Eagles for once again winning the turnover battle, because we know just how important that is when it comes to winning games. And also, going back to Quinyon's pick, I just gotta give a massive shout out to the Rook for not only what he did in this game, but also for what he's done this entire postseason. As in this NFC Championship, Q locked up Commanders star receiver Terry McClaurin as he covered him on 75% of his routes and held him to just 1 catch for 7 yards while also having that pick on him. And overall, in the postseason, Mitchell has allowed just 4 catches on 12 targets for 21 yards while having 2 picks and allowing a passer rating of just 2.7. I mean, that is special stuff from the rookie, and it's crazy because he's only going to get better from here. And hopefully, Q can continue to play at this high of a level when the Birds travel down to New Orleans for the Super Bowl. And you can say the same exact thing about Jalen Hurts, because QB1 just sent a message with what he did in this NFC Championship, so we're going to dive into that in just a minute, but real quick, I do want to ask that if you haven't done so already, then please subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any more Eagles coverage leading into the Super Bowl, and also drop a like down below to show some support. Let's see if we can get to 700 likes today. But getting back into it, if you're an Eagles fan, you know that the main criticism of this Eagles team all playoffs and really the whole season has been that Jalen Hurts and the Birds' passing offense haven't put up big numbers. But it's safe to say that QB1 put the critics to shame with the performance that he had in this NFC Championship, as he absolutely balled out from start to finish, specifically going 20 for 28 on his throws for 246 yards and a passing touchdown, which was just one of 4 total touchdowns he had on the day, by the way, and he also had a passer rating of 110.1, and once again, he did not turn the football over. And what he did also just goes beyond the numbers, because if you watch the game, he just looked really sharp as he was getting the ball out quicker in the pocket than he has been in the previous 2 games. He was more in rhythm and on time with many of his throws. He was accurate no matter where he was throwing the ball to. And aside from a couple mistakes here and there, he seemed to be in clear control all game long. So again, this was definitely a doubt-silencing performance from Jalen Hurts, and head coach Nick Sirianni seems like he really couldn't agree more.
How about our quarterback?
How about your
How about our quarterback?
How about your quarterback?
Don't doubt him. All he does is win.
Yeah, awesome. I think you heard what I said at the end of the game. It's amazing how much doubt there is sometimes. I can't quite comprehend it, because it doesn't look like people think it should look like. But the guy has been clutch. He's won a ton of football games. But you ran for this many yards. We don't care how we win. We don't care. And I'm sure it'd be the same thing. Like, whoa, he's got great players around him. Well, you tell me a quarterback that's won like this that has around him. Like, it don't happen, right? You talk about Joe Montana. Like, who was he throwing to? Oh, Jerry Rice. You don't win in this game unless you have great players around. You don't win consistently unless you have great players around you. And sometimes I feel like it's a negative on him, and it's just it kind of blows your mind. But he wins. He's a winner. I don't want anyone else leading us other than Jalen Hurts, and I'm proud of the way he went out there and battled today and played today.
I mean, for one, you just gotta love hearing Sirianni rave about his QB like that, but also, I really don't think he could have been any more on point with what he said. Because while some guys may like to judge Hurts' success on other metrics, winning is all that really matters at the end of the day, and Jalen just continues to do that time and time again. And we've also seen him step up and have big performances like this one where he set 6 NFL records, and also he became the only quarterback to return to the Super Bowl after losing his first one since John Elway back in the late 90s. So I really just don't see why there should be any questions as to whether Hurts can get the job done or not. And overall, I think he sent a message with what he did in this game, because even though he has proved it in the past, this performance in the NFC Championship should have reminded everybody that Jalen Hurts and the Eagles offense can pass the football if they have to. And in the Super Bowl, if Jalen is rolling like this again, along with Barkley in the Eagles ground game and that defense on top of it, then they're just going to be extremely hard to beat. But along with Hurts, someone else who has been criticized but deserves credit is head coach Nick Sirianni, as he truly has done a phenomenal job this year building this winning culture and helping bring the team together. I mean, he's got the support and buy-in from all of his players clearly, and he has just been the perfect motivator and leader for this team, and he's just done an amazing job getting the guys prepared week in and week out. And now, overall, in 4 years of the Sirianni-Hurts era, the Eagles have 4 playoff appearances and 2 Super Bowl appearances, which makes them each the only QB or head coach to have multiple Super Bowl appearances in franchise history. So, again, they both deserve a ton of credit for what they've been able to accomplish, because it truly is special. And overall, just getting back to it, what a game this was by this Eagles team. As whether it was Jalen Hurts throwing the ball, Saquon Barkley running it, the defense forcing turnovers, or any of the other great stuff that we saw in this game, they really dominated in all areas, and I think they sent a clear message ahead of the Super Bowl, because if they play like this again, then they're going to be pretty hard to beat. And obviously, the job is not done, as they will now take on none other than Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs in Super Bowl 59 in a rematch of a couple seasons ago. And as much as I know that the rest of the NFL world hates the fact that this is the Super Bowl matchup, I really don't think that us Eagles fans would have wanted it any other way, because now we have the chance to get our revenge from 2 seasons ago and to take down a dynasty. And immediately following the NFC Championship win, it sounds like the Eagles have their eyes on the prize.
But the goal wasn't just getting there, the goal is to win, and we're going to celebrate, enjoy this, and get right back to work.
One more step.
I don't know about you guys, but I am just so fired up and super excited to watch this matchup. I mean, I really cannot wait for it. And you guys already know that I'm going to be covering all the news leading into the Super Bowl, so if you guys don't want to miss any of that, then again, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications, and also drop a like down below to show some support, because it really does help me out a ton. Again, let's see if we can get to 700 likes today. And also, give me your thoughts down in the comments below. What did you think of the Eagles' dominant victory over the Commanders, and also, what are your early thoughts on the Eagles and Chiefs Super Bowl matchup? And also, if you're interested, check out my bookie. I have a link down in the description, and you can use my promo code as well. And if you want to watch another Eagles video, you can watch this one right here. And now with all that being said, that's pretty much all I got for this one, guys. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.